Thank you.
Now we shall move on to the next presentation. It is by Sivasankar Babu. Let me introduce Sivasankar Babu. Sivasankar Babu is a heritage enthusiast with interest in architecture, iconography, art history, epigraphy, and epigraphy. Due to his utmost interest in heritage, in the last 6-7 years, Sri Sivasankar Babu has been exploring and analyzing the heritage-related concepts and puzzles. To spread the heritage awareness to the next generation, he makes presentations in simple and lucid manner extensively. He is also part of Tamil Heritage Trust Chennai and several regional heritage groups of Tamil Nadu. As part of these organizations, he actively supports and arranges tools, seminars, and guidebooks initiatives to promote heritage. Sri Sivasankar Babu runs a social media infrastructure handle Babu for Heritage, with YouTube channel with curated heritage videos and Telegram events bulletins. Now over to you, Mr. Sivasankar Babu.
Happy to be again part of the University of Kerala, and this time with an interesting subject on demonology. And this gives me a very good opportunity to explore one more icon from the Ramayana. I thank Dr. Pritan Nair and the team from University of Kerala to give me one more opportunity on this interesting subject. I share the presentation. Is it visible to you?
Yes, visible.
So today, as part of Demonology conference, we are going to talk about Ravan the Brahmana. Normally, these two terms don't together, but he is a dichotomy of two characters. It is an interesting subject where 30 minutes is a tough job. I will try to finish it as fast as possible. So, if you look at Ravan, he is a Brahmana, and normally we see him as a negative character in Ramayana, who abducts Sita and then fights and destroys, and then always we see the negative side. But if you see this, he is half Brahmana from a rishi and a rakshasha mother. He is normally called as Dashasna and then Lankeshwara. He is a very good scholar of repute. And there have been many pointers which say that he has contributed a lot to study of astrology by Ravana Samhita, because of the medicine. And then while he was stuck in Kailasa, he has sung Sivatanda Sutra. And there is a Veena, Torota Veena kind of a thing as Ravana Hatha, which is still being used in Rajasthan folk music. So this is an interesting character. Let us see how he does it. If you look at the lineage of Ravana, we can trace the Brahmana side from Brahma and his Manasa Putra Pulastya, and from there Vaishrava, Rishi Vaishrava. And when Rishi Vaishrava marries two persons, one Deva Varini, and he gets Kubera. And he also marries Kaikasi of the great Rakshasa Somali. And through this, there are three major sons, and there are several. I am just highlighting the important ones. From Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Vibhishana and Surpanaka. And this is showing the demonic face, where they have, he is married to Mandodari, the daughter of Mayan, and he gets Meghanada or Indrajit. So this is the story. If you see this, he is half Brahmana and half Asura. So by his efforts, he wanted to defeat Kubera, and then he went into great lengths and then worshipped, and he got from Brahma the invincibility from all creations of Brahma, and then ability to shapeshift. And then later on, he worshipped Shiva, and then when he was trapped in Kailasa trying to lift it, and after this, Shiva was happy, and then he gave this Atmalinga, where when he was carrying it through Gokarna due to Vinayaga, the linga got stuck, and there is a separate story. And he also got the Chandrahasa, invincible sword of Shiva, and from his father-in-law Maya. Normally, when you get married, you get a Vahana as a dowry. So here the dowry is Pushpaka Vamana, or probably there is another story that he got it from Kubera when he defeated Kubera. This is the positive side and the power of Ravana. When you look at negative side, there is one of the stories is Sanata Kumaras when they were obstructed on a visit to see Vishnu. The gatekeepers Jaya and Vijay were first to born in the world as three avatars, and then they will be killed by some Vishnu avatars, and then back to Parkad. So Ravana and Kumbhakarna is supposed to be one avatars of gatekeepers. Brahma also, when he gave that he is invincible, he also gave that you cannot be killed by anybody but except humans. And when Nandi also cursed him that he will be destroyed by monkeys, primarily when he was trying to bypass Kailasa in his Pushpaka Vimana, and then when he resisted, he tried to fight with Nandi, and then Nandi gave this curse. So this are explained in many Puranas. So if you know the strength and weakness, this is a SWOT analysis of Ravana. When you talk about his characters, the first thing that comes to Ravana is the 10. So when you talk about the 10 heads of Ravana, iconographically people attribute different meanings to it. One way is that the 6 Shastras he is well versed and the 4 Vedas he has mastered. That is signified by one thing. This is the positive side. Okay. When you see the negative side, Dasara is also celebrated to signify the 10 sins of Ravana, which are representing the negative side of love, ahangara, moga, pashchadapa, krodha, grina, bhaya, like that, kama, and jaddata. So, in Dasara, they say that these 10 sins are overcome, but even everybody is a sort of Ravana. Everybody is a Ravana here because at least we attribute someone. So some of us may have 7 heads, some of us may have 2 heads. But if you see this kind of representation, everybody is a Ravana. Interestingly, Ravana is cursed and other things. Generally, people think that Ravana is supported only in Tamil Nadu, where he is celebrated as the Dravida king and other things. Interestingly, there are a lot of other temples in northern India where Ravana is celebrated, and Dasara is celebrated as a death ceremony. There is a temple in Kanpur which is opened at Dasara only one day to give co-memorial puja for him. Only on that day, other day it is closed. So it is supposed to be one of the birthplaces. They think that it is a birthplace. There is another village in Vaishrak near Noida, which is supposed to be the birthplace of Vaishrava. There is a grand Ravana temple where a huge statue of Ravana is available. Interestingly, Vidisha in Madhya Pradesh, they celebrate that Ravana is from our tribe, our home, and there is a ideal. This is horizontal. It is not vertical. It is horizontal. You can see it by the puja vessels, where Ravana is worshipped in a regular thing as a Ravan Baba. The name of the place is itself is Ravan. If you can search for Ravan MP, you can see this temple. So Ravana is, and even now, current day in worship in ideal form in multiple temples in North India. And Ravana temple is also there in Mandasur, where Kartaveeryaarjuna and others had a fight with them, and then he defeated. And then in Kakinada, Shivalayam, there is an Ravana temple, but it is later, but still the worship continues. And in Tamil Nadu, particularly, in any of the Shiva festivals, there are several Vahanas like Adhikaranandi and other things, where the 10-day festival and other things, Shiva comes in various Vahanas in the chariot or in the palanquin. One of the famous Vahanas for them is a Ravana Vahana, Ravana Anugraheshwara Vahana, which is very, very popular. So still Ravana is worshipped as part of Shiva in many of these areas. Now, Ravana was invincible, but again he has been defeated by some of the people. One of the guys whom he couldn't defeat is Vali, the elder brother of Sugriva. So Vali has got a power that whoever he says comes in front of him, he gets half the power. So hearing this, Ravana tried to fight with him when he was doing puja in Southern Sea when praying Linga. So after that, when Ravana tried to disturb him, he simply tied Ravana in his tail and kept him quiet till he completed the puja and then had a fight and subdued him. So realizing an equal foe, Ravana came in terms with him and then both of them, they became friends. And even in Ramayana, Vali is supposed to say that if it had asked, I would have asked Ravana to return it back. But you chose to side with Sugriva. So these two were also sharing a unique. Vali is also called Valishwara, and then there are many Valishwaram temples in Tamil Nadu. And Ravana is because of his Shiva devotion. Ravana is also Ravaneshwara. Ishwara, Ishwara suffix is available to both of us. Now, the other person who defeated Ravana is the Kartaveeryaarjuna. This is again in the Purana and other stories. He is of Haihaya dynasty with the capital of Mahishma. So Mahishmati is very famous now because of Bahubali, but this is the earlier Mahishmati where we don't know where exactly it is this. So this Sahasrarjuna with 1,000 hands, he defeated Ravana at Maheshwar, and there is still a temple in Maheshwar for Ravana, in addition to the temple for Kartaveeryaarjuna. I'm not able to find the photo. It took some time, so maybe in the next presentation I will show this. Now, coming to the international scene, in Thailand, Ramayana is there, and then there he is identified as Totsakan, the green one with, and there is one more, Sarada Sacheda, the white one, who got the main chapel of the palace in Bangkok in Thailand. And the Ramayana of Thailand is slightly varying. The Ramayana of Cambodia is slightly varying. And multiple local regional versions. Accordingly, Ravana also changes shape and changes character. Now, the other interesting factor, if you see the earlier pictures and other things, that even though Ravana has 9, 10 heads, he is always presented with 9 heads and a donkey head, because I don't know where this character came in. I was trying to research it but couldn't find it. Requires more information, because he's this iconographically, they say that it reflects his stubbornness like a donkey. So if you see the 17th century paintings of Ravana, he is always depicted along with a donkey. Here, the chariot is also from a donkey where it is getting rested there, along with Sita resting and Ravana fighting the Jatayu. So donkey is another representation, iconographic representation, which is very linked to Ravana. Now, coming to the famous episode, Ravana lifting Kailasa. This is the episode that is spread all over India. And this is the ultimate imagination for any sculptor. What are interpretation you can give, in whatever way you give. Ravana Anugrahamurti is one of the challenges for any person. From very, very old times, this is one of the old sculptures that is available in Albert Hall Museum, and 8th century Chandelas, and in 10th century Tamil Nadu. You will see various representations. It gives lot of information to show the poses of Ravana, the animals and the living people of Kailasa, the great disciple family, Devas, Asuras, everybody in Kailasa, and then finally Lord Shiva and Parvati, and Lord Shiva pressing with his right leg toe to compress the Kailasa and trapping Ravana in. So here he is shown as coming in his Pushpaka Vimana, and then Nandi obstructing the passage to Kailasa, and then he tries to lift the Kailasa, and then after realizing his foe, and he worships Shiva, and then gets the bone. Let us see how it is represented from the famous sculptures of Chalukya and Rashtrakuta. Patallok has got a unique representation where his 10 legs are, 10 hands are shown in the reverse. This is the actual practical pose. When you try to lift it, you lift it with your body and then try to do it, not like an the normal photo, the normal other sculptures are like photo pose, like how weightlifters give. Whereas if you see the actual weightlifters, they'll be turning and then they'll be trying to rest it. This is like a proper weightlifter pose with all the details of Shivaganas and everybody available there. This is one of the best interpretations of Ravana Anugraha. And you see in Ellora 29, this is the Ravana cave, where also he is shown in the almost same pose, trying to lift. This is the actual pose. Probably this is an extension of from 9th century to the expansion. This is in the Ravana caves. The ultimate is the Ellora Kailasanada, where it's a 3-dimensional effect, where it is like a separate temple itself. And Shiva Parvati sitting there, and then all the others there. This is where the Ravana tries to lift it, twisting his body and then raising it, and where the focus is more on Ravana rather than Shiva and Parvati. Now, having seen the body movement and the actual movements of Rashtrakutas and Chalukyas, now we come to the ornamental sculptures of Hoysala. So this is Halabeedu, where in soapstone they have given beautiful depiction of Ravana, and he holding the Chandrahasa, and then he is lifting this. The entire population of Himalaya is described in detail, in minute detail. This is the ultimate one. We need to do zoom and then analyze it. Then Belur beats it with so much of additional details, and this Kailasa is again termed as a mountain and also as a Vimana. So that is the beauty of the details and then structures available in it. And later on in Kedareshwara, we have got a very beautiful ornamental Ravana statue, like as though he is normally all the weightlifters after lifting it, they give a photo shoot kind of a pose. This is like a pose where he is lifting victoriously and the smile on his face is very good. So this is the ornamental representation. Now in Tamil Nadu, in Thirumayam, in Gopuram we see this, but the beauty here is that within the available space, he has folded all his hands and then heads and comfortably fit. See the body movement here, the way he has folded his legs, and conveniently between Karnakuta and Sala, the Panjara is there. The Panjara is conveniently structured with the Shiva and Parvati. So this is Kailasa as well as the Panjara. Very nice innovation here. And this is the traditional picture of the local area of Tinkonamali Koneshwara temple, where Ravana is depicted beautifully. This is a modern picture. Now we can see Ravana in Torana also. There, in very, very miniature, you see the Ravana lifting Kailasa. This is in Panjavan Mahadevi Padipade. This is John. Now, coming to the story, one of the early events of Ravana getting involved for the first time is Surpangnaga getting nose cut given by Lakshmana, and then he is going and complaining to Ravana in his. You can see the nose clearly missing and beautiful depiction. This is where the involvement of Ravana starts in Ramayana. Then Ravana abducts Sita and Jatayu tries to fight. This is in Hampi Hazara Rama temple, where it is a fairly simplistic later Vijayanagara period, not much detail in terms of depiction or fighting or body language. But you see this in Central Java in Parambanan temple. The way they have described in detail is simply beautiful. The Jatayu coming in, he's trying to fight with all the hands, and at the same time he is holding Sita also, and then there is somebody doing the actual flying, and she comes in and lands it at Ashokavana. All these details are depicted in a very, very dynamic way. Now, the beauty comes in always the Chalukyas and Rashtrakutas take the cake. See, these two dynamic, almost similar but different, and the way they have depicted is fantastic. He is trying, the Vimana is flying like a Superman, and this is getting attacked, and then Ravana trying to twist and then to come away from the bite of Jatayu. See the pose and the shift and the dynamic thing, the way he is looking at Jatayu. Chariot, and the way he twists the body and trying to go away from the bites. This is the masterpieces of Ravana fight with Jatayu. Now, with this imprison, finally Hanuman finds Sita and then goes to Lanka, and after meeting Sita, he wants to teach a lesson to Ravana, and then he is brought in, he is tied in. So in front of Ravana, he removes his ties, but he is not given a seat. He says that I am a representative or ambassador from Rama. I want to give a warning, but he is not given a seat, and then he creates a taller seat than Ravana, and then sits on top of it using his tail. So this is depicted in Chintala Venkatnarayana temple in Andhra. Very beautiful depiction of see the level of Ravana seat and then where our Hanuman is sitting. Even now, this Ravana fight is getting depicted in traditional stapatis in wood and other things. One of the award-winning meritorious things heads and 20 hands within the Prabha or the chariot, and how nicely Rama is depicted with far more details. This is also available for sale now, and if anybody is interested, he can contact him. He does a lot of such sculptures. When we talk about war, the ultimate war is depicted in a grand way in the Angkor Wat temple by the Ravana driving in the chariot and so many monkeys attacking him from all directions. If you see this fineness, each and every scene is a beautiful depiction in detail. And here Ravana, instead of riding a donkey char, he is done by a chariot by lions. Again, this is not here, it is in Paris. Finally, after all this, Ravana dies, and then in Paramban temple, still the saga continues with the Ravana death being mourned by Mandodari and others. And even there, the depiction of his heads and the sorrowness, see the sorrowness on her face. This is beautifully described. Paramban temple has got a huge collection of Ramayana, but since the time is very short and this one, I couldn't cover much of it. Now, so far we have talked about sculptures and some amount of paintings. But when we talk about Ravana images, it is not restricted to sculptures and it goes beyond that. There has been a stage actor, R.S. Manohar in Tamil Nadu, who is a popular villain actor. He is also a very good stage actor. He has done so many dramas of negative characters. One of the topmost character is Langeshwara, which has been presented 1,000 times, performed 1,000 times, and it has got the state award, where a lot of magical depictions are shown on the stage. Here, Rama is going in the Pushpaka Vimana, which is being shown in the stage. This is an innovation at the time. This is 1970s. So Ravana is there in dramas in Tamil Nadu. There is a movie called Langeshwara. It is not the typical Ramayana movie, where it is shown by from the Ravana's point of view, where Ravana is shown in a very positive way and other things. Interestingly, it takes a variation of later period Ramayana, where Sita is the first child born for Ravana. And then since Brahma wants that, because of her, your kingdom will get destroyed, she lives there somewhere in North India, and finally Janaka finds it. And that is the story. So it has shown Ravana in a very, 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 very positive manner as a bias, and the top actress K.R. Vijay was acting as Mandodari there. So Ravana is there in movies. And having lived so far in Sri Lanka and other things, interestingly, not many temples are there and the sculptures of Ravana in Sri Lanka, but Ravana lives in Tamil Nadu far more in detail. But Ravana has left his stamp of authority and remembrance in mythology, history, and space. India has released a stamp for Ravana, and Thailand has released Thailand. There is a Ramayan and Rama, and this is how Ravana is represented there. And in Cambodia, there is a Bali and other things. He is represented as like this in Sun. He is called as Karangri. Right. In addition to stuff, Ravana is in space. When Sri Lanka sent its first international satellite, they named it as Ravana 1. It went in 2009 or something, and it came back after several years. And so Ravana lives in space. So thus Ravana, who was a Brahmin, who became a asura due to his deeds and other predestined things, and because of his proud, and he ultimately met his demise by Vishnu Avatara. But he is a character, is a consolidation of all the evil things and good things we have, and how we should manage your evil things control, and so that your good prevails over the evil. So whereas Vibhishana was able to handle it in a slightly different, even though he is a brother, he managed it in a slightly different way. Probably his genes were slightly different. So this is the story of Ravana the Brahmana. And thank you for giving this opportunity. And if any doubt, you can contact me at this details mobile number, and you can watch these details in my YouTube channel, Babu for Heritage. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
for
Mr.
the opportunity.
Sivasankar Babu. There are some questions in the chat box. Can you see that?
Questions?
Can you? There are two, I think. One is a statement. Sir, apart from Mandodari, who all mourned Ravana's death? That was one.
I remember 3 documented wives. Probably they are represented there. There are names for it. Probably I can do it in detail. Since I wanted to focus on the sculptural and other side, I have not given much details. I will share it with you.
There is a long one, no? One.
Yeah, thanks for the comment from Poonam Rana.
No.
I think
it's not a question, I think.
Yeah.
So I presume that's all means comments and questions related to the talk of Mr. Sivasankar Babu. Thank you very much once again. So
I should also thank you for a good thing. We learned a lot of, I personally learned a lot of different flavors of Ravana and the temples he is having in different areas. And I think that was a revelation for me. And thank you for that. There's a comment from Poonam saying that, yep. More study on other religious texts and highlighted on his other tapasvi rupa. The challenge is then it becomes into a spiritual discussion on Ravana. If you have a presentation as Ravana, the character, then the focus would have been different. Here, the focus is on how Ravana and his character is presented in multiple images. So the focus was more on images, not on his spiritual design. But the point taken, probably if anybody is interested in focusing on Ravana as a character, then we can have a different presentation. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Sir, Chaitanya here.
Somebody is asking one question. Chaitanya, Mr. Chaitanya is asking one question.
It is not a question, ma'am, but okay. I was very interested into this kind of presentation, especially the Ravana as a character. I happened to read one novel which is based on the characterizing of Ravan. It is called as Vayam Raksha Maha. So it is basically it explains how the rakshasa as a group are meant for the rakshana or protection of, and there they explains Acharya Chaturya Sen Shastri. So if I would suggest if anybody is interested in the other side of Ravan, it is very well. But it is again a novel. It is not a research book. But Vayam Raksha Maha is one of the best book I've read on the other side of the Ravan.
It's an interesting insight. If you can share it to my inbox, you have my email ID and other details available at the screen.
Sure,
If
sure,
you can
sir.
share it, that will be helpful. We can
Sure,
also
sure,
do
sir.
a
I
joint
have a
discussion on
copy
this.
of that novel, but it is in Hindi. So if I get any, I'll share that with you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you once again. Mohasin, can you see that whether Dr. Suresh is online? Because the next presentation is his, but he will be joining. He said he will be joining at 12:40. So if he is present, we can continue. Otherwise, we will take a short break and we will continue or resume the presentations at 12:40. We can just have a tea and come back again, just to see whether he is he's there online.
Ma'am,
He's there or not?
no, he's not here yet.
Okay, okay. So we will take a short break and we will reassemble at 12:40 for the presentation of Dr. Suresh. He said that his presentation will be a very short one of 15 or 20 minutes. So we can have that before lunch. And now we can take a break.